Our top story this Monday, authorities in Muscle County are looking for the person who shot and left not one, not two, but three bull elk to waste. The first report was made Sunday afternoon east of Roundup, where a mature 6-point killed by a single gunshot was discovered. A second mature bull and a third elk were also reported not far from where the first one was found and left to rot. Muscle County Sheriff Sean Lesnick says this type of crime is incomprehensible and should not be something that members of our community can turn a blind eye to. If you have any information about the poaching, Lesnick encourages you to call the sheriff's office or tip Mont, which is Montana's toll-free hotline to report poaching and other crimes. Callers can remain anonymous and may be eligible for cash rewards. Well, it was a deadly weekend on roads in northeast Montana as 3 separate accidents claim 5 lives, all in Roosevelt County. The first happened Friday evening when a box truck was traveling south on Road 1013 near U.S. Highway 2 and entered the railroad tracks. The truck was struck on the passenger side by an eastbound train. The force of the crash was so strong, parts of the truck were scattered in both the north side and south side ditches. 2 men from Culbertson, an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old, were partially ejected and pronounced dead on scene. We're told they were both wearing seat belts, and alcohol and speed are not suspected factors. The second crash happened west of Culbertson on BIA Route 1 Saturday afternoon. According to the Highway Patrol, a 2009 Chevy Traverse was traveling east when the driver attempted to pass another vehicle and swerved to the right to avoid an oncoming car, hit a highway entrance, rolling 2 times and coming to a rest. All 3 occupants were ejected. A 66-year-old man was transported to Roosevelt Memorial Medical Center in Culbertson with injuries. The driver and another passenger, a 41-year-old female and a 50-year-old female, died at the scene. The investigation revealed seatbelts were not being used and speed and alcohol are suspected factors. The third crash happened west of Poplar on BIA Route 1. A 22-year-old man was traveling east in a 2013 Chevy Cruze when he veered right and went 400 feet along the ditch before hitting a metal culvert, which sent the vehicle flying 187 feet. It then rolled multiple times before striking a wooden pole and coming to rest on the roof. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt, and both alcohol and speed are suspected as factors. Road conditions were reported as wet. According to the Montana Highway Patrol, this brings the total number of fatalities on Montana roads for the year to 114. Back here in Billings, a man is recovering in the hospital after he was struck by a driver under the influence. Sergeant Brett Becker says a red Toyota was traveling north on 27th Street when a male transient about 30 years old bolted into the street in front of the Hub Drop-In Center. The transient was taken to the hospital and cited for jaywalking. The driver of the vehicle was charged with DUI. Police were already on scene dealing with another transient issue when the accident occurred. The man who went into full survival mode after missing in the remote wilderness for 5 days is sharing his stories. As MTM's Lauren Heiser reports, the man says he could feel people praying for him, and it helped guide him home to his pregnant wife.
I really hope the takeaway isn't that I've done this amazing thing. I was very gifted, blessed, protected. As much as a lot of things went wrong, there were a lot of key things that went right.
On Friday, August 16th, 25-year-old Caden Laga stumbled into a search and rescue camp after 5 days of being lost in the remote Idaho wilderness. He was with his family backpacking in the area when one of their horses went lame. Caden, being the strongest hiker in the group, offered to take off on foot towards the trailhead. He took a wrong turn and found himself unable to find the trail. He survived, he says, by drinking water from nearby streams and eating berries and crickets.
Pretty much flavorless. I told my niece it's like unbuttered popcorn.
Though he's in good spirits now, there were moments he feared he may never get the chance to see his wife again, or to hold his unborn son. One night near the beginning of his 5 days, it was so cold that he feared he would die in his sleep. He took out his phone and wrote a message to his wife.
I just wrote it to Arden and I just said, in case I don't make it out of here, I love you. I've loved my life with you, and I'm so sorry I left you to be a single mom.
Caden says he's thankful to search and rescue as well as volunteers. He said they faced so many obstacles and called himself a bad candidate for rescue because he kept on moving. Laga's family played a huge role in that search. Their home in Florence turned into a communication command center. The family stayed strong, but the day before Caden was found, frustration was growing.
I went upstairs, had a very, very frank conversation with God. I said, I need my husband now. I need him now. And so I went to bed, and not 5 minutes later, that's when I heard screaming downstairs of, they found him, he's alive.
Laga found the search and rescue camp because one of the volunteers had left her headlamp on the trail. The day after he was found, he was reunited with his family. Now that he's home, the Laga family was finally able to take down their command center. Their family photos are now back on the wall where they belong. In Florence, Lauren Heiser, MTN News.
Arden and Caden have decided to name their baby boy after one of the rescuers at the camp where Caden was found. The attorney for the man who reportedly assaulted a 13-year-old boy after he wouldn't remove his hat during the national anthem is sharing his client's side of the story.
And he gave an oath not only to follow the orders of his commanders, but his president and that type of thing. And when you have a person that doesn't have much of a life, they only have what's core to them. And he's core, he's a veteran. And so he's going to listen to whoever he identifies with.
This, of course, sparked backlash across the nation. Jasper says a traumatic brain injury causes Brockway to function at a third-grade level, and he also has impulse control issues. Jasper said despite causing bodily harm to a minor, his client expressed remorse. The child was hurt.
He acted so quickly, but his intention wasn't to hurt the little boy. It wasn't. But now that he knows the little boy is hurt, it's tremendous remorse. I mean,
Brockway's next court appearance is scheduled for October 23rd. The maximum sentence for felony assault on a minor, according to a charging document, is 5 years in prison and a $50,000 fine.